This is me hundreds of miles from my home visiting one of the most famous places in the world at 3 in the morning. This is just one of 3 insane places that I will be visiting over the course of the next 7 days.
The point of this trip is kind of like risk, spontaneity. I thought that might help add with a little bit of the stakes,
So throughout the course of this about 10-minute rant, I failed to form any coherent thought whatsoever, so narrator Colin is here to fill you in on the plan. So I just got done with my college classes, and I was on my way back home to put the truck in for an oil change, and then after that, I was off.
This is so cool. I can talk to you guys while I'm outside. Isn't that crazy? Anyways, we're gonna get gas. We're gonna head to a town called Fredonia. Tomorrow, we're driving about 14 hours.
But there were 2 main problems that I knew I was going to face. One was finances. At this point in the video, I had already spent about $500 on GoPro, accessories, lav mics, and whatever else. And since the trip was so spontaneous, I didn't know how much money I was expecting to spend on the trip. The second main problem was really the spontaneity of the trip. I had a strong feeling that Murphy's Law, which we will see later on in the video, was going to apply heavily to me, which is basically whatever can go wrong, will go wrong. And the lack of planning really made it difficult for me to control every single possibility. However, little did I know was that the things that I was going to see on this trip were going to make every single possible thing worth it.
So, something I haven't considered. This genuinely, I don't know what you guys can see here. That's my knee. I literally am just cramped back here.
After about 2 hours of tossing and turning, I've realized that I wasn't going to get any sleep that night. So of course the only logical thing to do, drive to my first destination like 8 hours ahead of schedule and see absolutely nothing. Oh, and did I mention that Niagara Falls at 3 in the morning is sketchy as fuck?
This whole experience was just so sketchy.
I want to go see the city lights. I am doing this right in front of the border, aren't I? They're gonna get mad at me. Never do something stupid for longer than 10 minutes. It's usually my rule. Good morning, sleepyheads. Yeah, maybe I did steal that from Ryan Traham. What are you gonna do about it? Nothing.
So one of the main things I wanted to do on this trip was go climb the tallest mountain in Maine. I mean, the pictures on Google Maps of this thing are just absolutely ridiculous. However, I can barely run a mile at all, so climbing a mountain was going to be a real challenge for me.
God, what a day I've had. Why am I so short? I didn't record any of the stuff I did today because 2 of the things I did today were in a public place. I'm not going to film in public. That's just weird. So here's a very realistic drawing. Went to Cracker Barrel. I drove. And then I ate again. You're all caught up. Welcome to day 3, everybody. Boys, I want some breakfast. I got a private room in the hostel. And I don't know why I came up here because I actually need to go back downstairs. So I'm literally just in. It's basically like a house. It's really cool. These are the kind of experiences I live for, man,
Let's move into summit day. As I mentioned earlier, I really don't have a lot of stamina. I can barely run a mile, so the 5.5 miles one way was going to be brutal on me, and it was.
It's probably going to take me 12 to 14 hours to complete this hike.
I'm starting to get a little bit worried. Maybe I just woke up wrong today, but I feel a little sick. Worst day possible for this. I don't want to turn back, but I doubt I'm even an eighth of the way there.
I'm not gonna lie to you, at 6 in the morning, as I was walking through these woods, I had to fight my thoughts to not turn around and give up on this video. But I had too much invested in it. And after I saw what this place had to offer, the thoughts got easier and easier to deal with. As I ascended higher and higher, the colder that it got, and that sucked.
After about 4 grueling hours, I did finally make it to the top, but it was at the cost of this entire video. You see, 1 week ago I wasn't doing so great. Part of the reason for going on this trip was to distance myself from the stresses of my life. But after climbing this mountain, my feet were killing me, and it forced me to have to rest for a few days. When I rested, I couldn't really do much, except just be alone with my thoughts. Over the next couple of days, I started reflecting hard. I stayed in Connecticut for a few days. I even visited Yale. But on my way to Nashville, I just couldn't bring myself to record what I was feeling, which unfortunately means that this video is going to end earlier than I planned.